So after 3 days with the Chaos Zero Nightmare playtest, I can confidently say that this game is fantastic. It is a whole lot of fun, but it's got some rough patches. Let's talk about it. For those unfamiliar, Chaos Zero Nightmare is a deck building roguelite gacha, which is pretty rare in the space. The only other real example would be Mori Men's. And it is being done by the same companies that did Epic 7, being Smilegate and Super Creative. So I'll try to break down everything, but I'm going to try and attempt to not go into excruciating detail. But first, starting off with the story, which is separated into its visual novel-esque talking heads type deal. And then we've got the battle missions, which are kind of meant to break in between, so that way you do a little bit of, actual gameplay while you're actually, info dumping. There's only 2 things I really want to go over in the story. Number 1 is that the MC does have amnesia, kind of. It's only for like a scene, basically, where he essentially is like bonked on the head and he's like, oh shit, what just happened? And then they do a flashback and then he's all caught up. He knows everything else though. I would say right now the story is probably middle of the road. I wouldn't really be recommending this game alone on its story. I think it's fine, but it's not really crazy. It didn't blow me away at any points, but I think it has the potential to go somewhere interesting, and so I'm going to look forward to seeing more story when it actually drops. And then to look into combat and how team building and all that's going to work, you're going to start off picking 3 characters. They are going to be equipped with a partner card and a deck. You can see here we have a partner card. These are going to be obtained in the gacha. And they're from 3-star to 5-star. So far, I've only played with 3 stars and 4 stars. I don't think I have any 5 stars. So there are those. And then they also have these decks, which you're going to be building out in the roguelite mode, which will be saved. And they will have a bunch of data on them, which is going to contain gear and different cards, as well as different card upgrades, which we'll get into a bit later. But yeah, let's jump into combat. So here with combat, we're going to try and just go over all the basics. Up at the top left, you got pretty standard looking stuff, but underneath these characters, this is where their stress meter would be. Oops, maybe I shouldn't tap those. This will fill up as they take damage, and then right underneath the stress meter is going to be kind of their unique mechanics. So if they have a more unique mechanic, they'll try and have some kind of a visual display here. You can always check it through buffs or other means, but this is just kind of a way so that way it's a little easier to just kind of see it on the fly. And then as far as enemies are concerned, we have this one which has an infinite symbol, which is perfect, and this one which has a 3. If I play a card at any point, you can see it's going to go down, and as this ticks down, when it hits 0, it just means that they're going to perform their action before your turn would end. And right underneath the diamond number, you can see their intent, and by clicking on them, you can see exactly what it does. So they do have little symbols kind of help associate what they're going to do, but specifically what they're going to do, you would have to actually tap on them currently to see what is actually going to happen. And then right next to that is elemental weakness, which there aren't like a tree or anything. It just kind of shows the weakness. So I don't have any red cards here, but it would be this left colored border here. So Tressa's here is purple. If they had a purple weakness, I would do more break damage, which is this bottom meter here. And once they're broken, they'll take more damage and you'll get 1 of your energy back. You start with 3 every turn. Then you have ego points on the left, which is like an ult meter essentially. So you can do your combatants' egos or their equipped partner skills as well. What shows up here is actually going to be random, and there's no way to swap, which I think is a little silly, but that's how it works currently. And then on the right here, we have the proto skills. These are skills that you will unlock, and you'll get these hourglasses every day, and you'll be able to perform some somewhat game-breaking abilities, at least a little bit every day. That way you can kind of try and patch up some mistakes that you made. That's about it. It's pretty basic, simple deck building roguelite gameplay, and I absolutely love it. It's so much fun to play around with other characters, especially in the roguelite mode where you get to kind of customize a little more. We'll look into that a little bit. Unfortunately, this is a playtest, so I have to basically look at it and judge it on what we have, and currently the translation, at least for all of the effects and cards and whatnot, as well as just the QOL, is just very, very lacking and very, very poor right now. Like the intent part for enemies, it would be very nice to actually be able to see in detail a little easier what they're actually going to do, so I don't have to sit here and individually keep tapping. Eventually you'll learn enemies, but there's a huge variety of enemies, so actually kind of pinning down and learning what they are going to do is going to take quite a while. As well as being able to hover over effects. If I take a look at the deck, see if I can find a good example. Like here, Exhaust, this will show it up here. And then if I look at Tressa's card here, Cursed Gouge, this one doesn't have any effects for poison or weakness. So going in, you don't know initially what this card does at all. And I'll go ahead and use it here and show. And you'll see here it said Weaken and Pain Imprint. And now when I click on there, Weaken and Pain Imprint. They have completely different names, and it's just very confusing. Eventually you kind of catch on, but this is not going to be very good for newer players. But I do think that they're actually going to fix this 100% when it comes to launch. I think this has been the like #1 biggest issue for pretty much every playtester. So I have faith this will get fixed, but in its current state, it's not very good. But other than that, the gameplay is so much fun. And then as far as all the modes we have, there's a lot of stuff that's like locked or we're just not going to be able to get to in the playtest due to account level limitations. This one I might actually be able to unlock today, actually. Maybe I should do that later. But something like Basin of Hyperspace is going to be completely locked. We're not going to be able to look at it. Probably should have went over what this is. The simulation is basically a bunch of farm stages. This is going to be like XP, upgrade materials, and then like weekly bosses. And then here in Chaos mode, you can see that Zero System. This is going to be, I think, more of the end game Chaos mode. This one is going to be completely locked off for the playtest, so can't look at that. But here we have Chaos mode, and this is the actual like deck building roguelite mode where you're actually going to be able to add cards into your deck and upgrade cards and get gear and whatnot and kind of shape exactly how you're going to make a character work. You have these different exploration nodes that you can do. They're going to vary in size and not so much difficulty because you can go ahead and pick difficulty based on your account level, each having their own set of exploration achievements here. And see here it shows I only have like 2 of these explored equipment slot things, and then you know, a bunch of monsters, and then a bunch of random events. And outside of just playing these for fun and building out new decks, they're also going to be your weekly, or at least one of your weekly farms here. You're going to get 6 of these tickets, and that's how you're going to claim some upgrade materials at the end of the run. But at any point in time, you can still go through the entire run and just go build out some decks and have some fun. But the only difference is that you will not be able to get the weekly rewards without the tickets. And then up here we actually also have this deep trauma mode. As soon as one of your characters has become deeply traumatized, which is when they come back with a corrupted deck that you have to either cleanse or just trash entirely. But once you have that, as long as you have one character who's experienced deep trauma, you can turn on the deep trauma mode for a higher difficulty and supposedly higher rewards. Most people haven't really noticed too big of a difference, but it's probably also harder to tell in maybe some of these shorter chaos runs, as well as being in significantly lower difficulties. The highest that we're going to be able to reach in the playtest is going to be difficulty 3, but then we have 3 more difficulties above that. I'll go ahead and flash some little gameplay snippets of the chaos mode itself. It's going to be, you know, just like a big map, kind of like if you've played any other decklight rogue builder. You can have different nodes on different paths that you can go down, and you'll kind of try and map out your way to see exactly like how many of certain points you want to hit. Like, you know, usually in these games, elites are always like really good options to go for. So if you want to go elite farming, then you want to map out a path that's going to run into the most elites. And there's going to be events, you know, random events. There's going to be shops where you can add cards, remove cards, find some gear, etc. It's a whole lot of fun, and it's definitely like the peak gaming experience of Chaos Zero Nightmare in my opinion. One unfortunate thing I will say is that for more casual players, currently there is no auto whatsoever in the Chaos mode. You can auto all of the other farm stages, which are like super easy. You know, you'll just set auto and pretty much just walk away every time. But as far as the Chaos mode is concerned, no auto currently. In my opinion, I think this is something that the devs will change come launch, because I think it's a bit unrealistic to expect a casual player base to actually manually run through 6 Chaos runs every week to get the rewards. Now you can't let them stack for like 2 weeks, but then they'd have to do 12, you know? And the Chaos runs are pretty long. I mean, it's like a full-on like roguelite deck building experience, you know? Like a Slay the Spire run is usually like, unless you're like just speeding through it, if you clear a run, that's like 40+ minutes. I don't think CZN yet has hit that point, but it's definitely 20 minutes plus at least. So I do hope that they will turn auto back on for Chaos. Now, it's still going to be difficult if you're farming on level. So I also think that, you know, you're only going to be able to auto, you know, very comfortable stuff you're already overpowered for. But I think at least just having the option to be able to auto it would be good. Before I forget, the farm stages, you also have to auto these. There are no skips, but you can do up to 3 attempts, but they're so easy. I really don't even know why that you have to be capped at 3 attempts. I feel like they should just uncap this and let you kind of just burn all your stamina wherever you want to burn it, because again, they are so easy. You're going to set it and forget it. So those are all the modes currently, and you can also see that we have events entirely locked away. If it's going to follow at all in Epic 7's path, then we're probably going to have like some pretty big like side story events where you're going to get a lot of rewards from. And then we also have the season pass, which I assume is going to be a battle pass that is also currently locked because, you know, no paid beta here. Now we've got the city. There's a few things we got going on here. Unfortunately, I already burned all my policies today. Maybe I can grab another one real quick just to show it off. But first off, we have these 4 nodes. Now, we aren't really going to get too in depth with this system because there's only so far we can actually get currently in the test. But here we have these different like areas that we can go ahead and interact with our characters, and you can send them a gift. You can spend this ticket here. It's gonna be important to keep in mind here. You can spend this ticket here to spend time with them 3 times a day. And then you can view their events here. And so far, I think it's every 5 star at least, every 5 star, and then a couple 4 stars, which will have those like live 2D lobbies that will be unlocked once you hit level 10. Now, these excursions themselves, from what I've seen so far, are pretty bare bones. They're pretty basic. They don't go too in depth, or you won't really learn a whole lot about the characters themselves. So I'm hoping that they're going to flesh out characters more so in these side events or through something else that we haven't really seen yet. You can also see we have all these spots that are not unlocked yet, which we're going to have to unlock in the research facility, which is this tree here. We're going to get these tickets from the city shop, and you're going to burn them to level up these various nodes that are mostly going to help the city, but there are also some other things like right here, thank God I found it, which is unlocking like a proto skill. So different various benefits here in the research tree. Not too big, but it's definitely going to take a while because at first it was like 1 ticket to upgrade, and now it's costing 2, which you're pretty much going to get those tickets here in the policy office. Unfortunately, I already burned them all. Let me see if I can go grab one real quick. Here we go. There's some weekly policies you can buy here, but these policies will show up every few hours. You'll bring this timer down actually through the upgrades, but anyway, you'll have these goals here that you want to achieve by the end of this D date. So D4, it's showing here, these are the goals that I want to hit in order to get this higher achievement reward. I don't know if they'll change this come later on, but so far it definitely just seems like you want to clear these days as fast as possible, just so you can get the 60 gems, because the rest of the money, it probably will be important later on, but currently not that important. But you'll get these policies over time, and you'll just pick from them and then kind of decide how you want these resources to go. This one will reduce my happiness, but it'll boost my economic activity up to the threshold, so then I should probably be able to get an A rank there. And this kind of does the same, but also upgrades the other one. So yeah, you do that and you get some points that you can spend at the shop. We'll go into the shop now. That way you can buy like the research upgrade as well as some other things. These are gifts, and then these are more reports for you to go do and get some more points back, and to try and clear up to the S rank of that mode. And we have the diner. Oh my gosh, I love the diner just because if you played any Vanillaware game, you know, like Muramasa, or I'm already forgetting the other one that came out recently, Unicorn Overlord, that one was a lot of fun. They're very known for their food, and this is pretty much just straight up the Vanillaware food system. So you can get these food items for buffs. Go eat the food. They look fantastic, and you got these little animations of you eating them. And I just love it. I love this feature so much in Vanillaware, and I feel like it's so iconic for them. Seeing it here, it's like, it's amazing. But yeah, you get buffs, and then you can, they'll last for a couple of your chaos runs. And the last in the city is the cafe. This is essentially just Zenless Zone Zero's coffee system. But here you can pet some cats. Look at that. One of the cats is missing here. There's always this black cat that's, maybe I can't see it. I don't know if it moves now or not, but it was here one day and then it's gone the next. But anyway, once a day here you can order coffee. You can either instantly replenish 80 stamina once a day, or you can convert that into this little item here that'll be worth 60. You can only hold 4 right now. I mean, it makes sense why you can do this. I just don't like the fact that it's reduced whatsoever, but that's how that works. And truly last is the Epion Center. Once again, another feature completely locked away, so we can't really go over it, is the trauma code. Don't really know what that is yet whatsoever. But then we have the Epion Center. I don't have anybody in here, but at the end of a run, if they are broken down at the end of the run, that one seems to guarantee that you'll come back with a corrupted deck from Chaos. That you either have to cleanse here or wipe by deleting memories. I'll probably just flash some gameplay up there. But I think there's also a small chance of them coming back corrupted anyway if you are doing the deep trauma mode, the higher difficulty. But you can choose to either cancel them, which will, I believe, boost affinity for the character, but also cleanse that corrupted deck, so that way you can use it in the other modes, or you can just wipe their memories, which is going to delete those corrupted, or at least that one corrupted deck entirely. You'll keep the rest of your decks, luckily, the corrupted one will get wiped. In my opinion, the biggest thing that needs to happen here is the counseling, the cleansing of the deck needs to be changed from this 3 ticket system that they have, because if you remember from earlier, this is actually shared with the hangout system with the characters. So if I wanted to hang out with these characters daily, I would have to choose to not cleanse any decks and just wipe them if I end up getting unlucky after a run and it gets corrupted. So currently I think the system is a little punishing, especially because early on when you start the game, you're going to have this activity track pass, and you can see I messed up a little bit because I didn't look at it beforehand. You have to go hang out with people first, and if you end up cleansing corrupted decks instead, then you're gonna have to wait on these reward tracks even longer than you normally would. So yes, I'm hoping they change that. Now, looking at character progression, character's going to have levels and level caps. And this is kind of like the Hoyo system where like every other 10 levels, you will get a summon, some other stuff. We got some materials here to uncap the level. We have their cards, and this is how you're going to kind of learn a different character. This is going to be their starting deck up here. Then we have cards. This is going to be their starting deck up here, which is going to be important for chaos mode. So these are the 4 cards a character will start with. And then these are unique cards that you will be able to get throughout the run through these epiphanies, which are essentially just randomly cards will get marked with an epiphany. And if you play it, you'll either get to upgrade that card played, or you will get a different card out of their unique card pool. And their ego skill right here, and then the restore card motion. This is their animated card system where you'll have to pull for these prism modules in order to restore the animation to the cards. And unfortunately, there's no way to check. You'll have to like go to an outside source. I think the website also has them for the listed characters that they have to actually see the animation and unlock the one that you actually want. Now we've got partners, which again are weapons. So they have a passive, which is going to apply to the correct class of the character. And then a ego skill, which is just that partner skill again in combat that they'll have. These will be the same deal as pretty much any other gacha's weapon system. You upgrade them, you uncap them, especially Hoyo, if you're familiar with that. And then they can take some dupes to boost this passive as well. Here is save data, and you can go ahead and look at all of your different save data. You can change them at any point. You can rename them, you can favorite them. And you can customize them, which I think is a funny thing. So if I hit customize, you can change the background, and you have these stickers. And you can see I can put 10 stickers on here and mess around with it. So it's a cute little feature that you can do. Then you can also trash decks. So if I wanted to, I can just trash this here. I think this is it, right? If I trash this one, yes, you'll get some money back for trashing save data that you don't really want to use anymore or is a bit outdated for you. Here in the potential tab, you will upgrade various stats with slow gained upgrade material. So we'll boost basic cards on this character, neutral cards equipped to this character, unique, etc. Mostly it's just stat stuff until you get to these big nodes where it's going to be a bit more beneficial passives. Like this one is a huge one for Tressa. It gives the basic card. She starts off with her dot application, which is very nice. So that is their upgrade system. Oops. And then the last one is the dupe system. So far, the characters that you start off with, I have to double check. I don't know if they're in the actual summon pool. I don't think I've pulled a single dupe of any of the 3 characters you start off with, or 4 characters you start off with. But yes, here is the dupe system, and I actually want to look at a different 5-star to kind of show off the system. I think this one is a good example here. Now, from what I've seen, actually, the other version, I think it was the Korean media test. I think they actually show different dupe effects here. I think you can actually see K-Rons. It's either in the media test or the JP test. One of them, they are definitely different dupe effects. So take this with a grain of salt. Wait until the actual, launch to see what we actually get. But in its current state, the dupes are incredibly powerful. They completely can get around certain mechanics or expand on mechanics that a character has and make them a lot better. Like here, I don't know K-Ron really well because unfortunately I didn't pull him. But here it says Rift of Nothingness, a card adds graveyard, which is your trash, to the target range of void cards it uses. And you'll see here in this ego skill, and I assume it'll be affecting his other cards unless that's a mistranslation. But here you can see it gets this added effect. I assume this normally says banish all void in hand, and that's it. But now it says banish all void in hand and in your trash, and then you increase the damage by that much. And that's a huge change to an essential gimmick and effect where you're now getting to add a bunch of stats that didn't exist there before. So these are actually huge increases. And currently, I don't think it's great because these are really, really good. There's only one dupe on characters that will boost just kind of card stats, which I'm more fine with that. But then there are these other ones that change mechanics. Like there's one for Rin, the samurai girl, that completely gets rid of one of her like limiting factors, which is you need to get into this like stance in order to play certain cards of hers. And there's a dupe that just completely removes that condition that you need to do. So in my opinion, dupes are way overtuned right now, and I don't think that they should really kind of skirt game mechanics and change how a character plays entirely. These kind of ruins the identity of a character, and then they're just a broken character where you spam cards. And before we get into the final fun bit being the gacha, I wanted to take a look at the shop, which, you know, this is going to be very not representative of what it will look like come launch, because it's only going to have the different exchanges we have here. But first off, we have these. I don't exactly remember which summons give these. I don't know if it's the 5-star summons or if it's just character summons. I think it might be just character summons in general. You accumulate this currency, and I bring it up a lot because I've played a lot of Honkai Star Rail, but it works similarly to that, where you will pull and then you will have this currency that you can either exchange into more summons currently, or you can get some of the launch partner 5-star cards, similarly to Honkai. And if this changes come launch, who knows? But that's how it works currently. And we have the Traveler Shop, which these ones, I believe that these are more of like the partner dupes. So essentially the weapon dupes that you will get these currency, which will pretty much just be exchanged for upgrade materials. Not even like all the upgrade materials, just like one of them. I think this is from the weekly void runs, so you can get some of those there, as well as 5 monthly summons. Here is Zeronium. This is going to be the, I already forget what it was called, but the zero mode that isn't unlocked for us yet, so no currency to be had here. But here you can actually get this, which I think that this is combatant potential material. But when I go to potential, I don't see that material anywhere. Maybe it's like locked into one of these deeper upgrade levels. But yeah, you only get one of these a month. And then we have over here this material for crafting memory fragments. Okay, here we go. Allows specifying stats when crafting memory fragments. I think this is going to be like the gear system that they have. So right now, it definitely looks like they are heavily inspired by Hoyo and their games, at least from what I'm familiar with in Honkai, where you have certain materials that you get very limited amounts of, that you can go ahead and re-roll stats, or you can like kind of pick stats that you want more specifically. And then the Prism module, you get these for pulling on the animation banner. You can get some monthly summons on that animation banner. That's just the conversion for gems into summons currently. But yeah, it's very Hoyo inspired shop system. Not much else to say here. We'll have to wait and see when it actually comes to launch, if anything gets adjusted, as well as like what all of like packs and season pass and monetization in general, how it's going to look. And last, we have the good old gacha. Now, the biggest issue for me personally has been the translation in QOL as far as like all of the cards and effects go, but I'm like, you know, I'm like 99% sure that will actually, you know, be addressed come launch. But gacha is something that, you know, again, I'm going to say it's a playtest, take it with a grain of salt. And I think the versions have actually, again, been different, as well as typos. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt, but currently I think it's not good. If we look here at the details, you can actually see, which is interesting. Again, this is why I wouldn't trust this entirely. If we look here, it says when a 5-star combatant is obtained, there's a 50% chance it will be the featured 5-star combatant for this high chance event, which would make sense if this was a limited banner. There is no limited banner in the playtest, so the fact that it says that there is a rate up or a 50-50 at all makes no sense, because there is no rate up. It's just, you know, pull any random 5-star in the banner. So I don't even think this can properly be assessed, but how it is and how we're going to have to judge it is what it looks like right now, which is a guarantee at 70 summons with a 1% 5-star rate, a 50-50, so if you do not get the character on the rate up on your first 5-star, you will get it on the next one. And then there also is a soft pity from the 1st to the 57th summon, and then it will increase by 4.5% each from the 58th to the 69th summon. And then you were guaranteed on your 70th. So there is a soft pity, there is a hard pity at a 1% rate. Now, I don't love the 50-50 or anything, but if you saw my previous video, it's really not the biggest deal. I think what matters is economy, and currently, you know, it's hard to judge economy. We don't have events, we don't have other modes in the game yet. But again, with what we have currently, summons and in general, the crystals, the premium currency is very, very slow rolling. I saved my mail here. I think I was able to do probably like 3 hard pities as well as the beginner banner, which the beginner banner was a banner where you can do up to 50 summons. On the 50th, you were guaranteed a 5-star, but along that way, I actually did it on stream, you can pull other 5 stars. So you can get multiple in that beginner banner for a discounted rate. But I think I was able to go 2 or 3 hard pities, but that is with them giving us a bunch of summons. So if I count them up here real quick, yeah, after counting up all the rewards they've given us for these mail events, it has been 220 summons. So yeah, about 3 hard pities mailed to us and then some change. So maybe throughout playing the rest of this, I was able to do the beginner banner as well. That might not even be right. I don't know. The history doesn't show up here yet, but it's somewhere around the ballpark of 3 pities. So 220, maybe 250 summons. And then if I factor in gems as well, it probably goes up somewhere, I don't know, somewhere between 250 and 300 essentially. But after playing through, what is it, all of these story chapters and doing all of the content you possibly can, or outside of the mail events, what I've been able to get is probably 1 hard pity and maybe some change after that. So not great. Economy is currently not great, but again, we'll have to wait and see when it comes to launch if they adjust any of this stuff, as well as the fact that we do not have a lot of things implemented into the game, so we might be missing a lot of summons there. So I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, but currently in its state, it is not great. It does not feel very good. Then we have the weapon banner, which currently states exactly the same information as the character banner, so no need to go over this. It's all the same. Wait, except for maybe this. Is it 4.5 for the partner as well? Yeah, okay. Everything is exactly the same, so not much to go over there. But yeah, there is another, there's a weapon banner as well, which looks like you're going to be able to at least select which partner you want, or maybe a selection of partners you want to put on the rate up or your guarantee. Who knows there? And then the animation banner, which this one it does currently have a selector, so you can actually select which one you get. So far, there's no way to get these summons outside of just like summoning and gaining them. So you can't even buy them for gems or anything. So this one is really hard to judge. Definitely gonna have to wait and see this one come launch. But again, it has all of the same rates, the same soft pity increases. The only difference is that, you know, whenever you do pull it, you are going to pull exactly what you selected. So you'll get 1 prism module for that character that you can use on one of the cards. Really hard to judge the system. If you can get summons on this with currency or anything else like that, I think it's going to be in a very bad state, because currently you only get 1 and you have to get it 5 times to get a full deck of a character. And it's like a very small visual change. I'll show it here. I got one for Cassius. You can see Devil Dice. This one has an animation. We go back. The rest of these do not have little animations. It's also got this like little prismatic flare to it. Like, they look neat, but the way, if there's like 3 whole gachas to spend on, you know, I'm all for whales having something to chase that maybe other players can't get, but I think just having these like 3 separate full 70 pity banners just doesn't feel great. But if you can actually farm these summons in game, you know, like kind of like at your own leisure, then I think that this is not too bad. But again, I think a lot of this is subject to change, and we don't even have the full implemented version of these banners or the way of seeing of how to get any of this currency. So again, take it all with a grain of salt, but currently I think it definitely needs some tune-ups here. So outside of all of the rough patches I went over, all in all, the game is still so much fun. I mean, I've done, you know, as of recording this, at least 2 back-to-back, you know, like 7-hour streams of just playing this game, and it's been fun the entire way through. I mean, the dopamine I get from doing a chaos run, going in there, running into different events, you know, rolling some dice, picking different options, getting different upgrades, different cards, different combinations, different gear, and then being able to go in and fight all these different enemies with this combat is just, it's unmatched. We'll take another real look at this, you know, a deeper look when it actually comes out, but currently the game is a whole lot of fun. I just think it has a lot of rough patches that needs to be tweaked and messed around with a bit. But all in all, it's a blast. I hope that they really stick the landing and address a lot of these concerns, because I want this game to be the best possible game it could be. I want it to do as well as it possibly can at launch. And it's been truly just such a joy to play this game. Genuinely, it's so much fun. So thank you everybody for watching. Look forward to more CZN content in the future. Hopefully we see some exciting news come the Tokyo Game Show coming out or going on at the end of this month, because they will be there. So yeah, look forward to that future content. Thank you everybody for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.